What's up everybody, this is BR, and today I want to talk about a tweet posted by the very popular Apex YouTuber, Zeus. Zeus is a popular Apex YouTuber who has a lot of skill posting a lot of frag compilations where he makes some very shiny plays, and because of that he has some clout when it comes to talking about Apex's balance. And of course he talks a lot about Apex and the community on his Twitter account frequently. But what really caught my eye was this tweet that he posted where he says, "The Apex community has some of the biggest crybabies, I swear. No matter what, they will find something to cry about. The melee has been the same for 2 years, but now they all want it nerfed." And this was posted way back on July 4th, 2021, before the massive overhaul of the punching system, where the punches became significantly less magnetic and now you actually had to aim in order to punch someone. Now this sentiment is actually something that I heavily disagree on, specifically being that the issue was already there for 2 years, so nobody really has a right to complain about it. Now, to save a little bit of face, I do have to admit that Zeus does frequently post a lot of comments that are basically just bait. Sure, they might hold a little bit of his opinion, but most of it really is just to get a reaction out of people. But I'm going to assume that for the most part that this is a mostly genuine comment, and that his sentiment holds true here. So why do I disagree so heavily with him talking about the Apex punching system that has been there for 2 years and anyone complaining about it being crybabies? Well, that's because I think it's a huge misconception that people will always find the most overpowered and efficient strategy there is in a game as early as possible. This also includes exploits, of course. So when it comes to the punching issue, it really wasn't that big of an issue because nobody really looked into it. But of course, with Apex being a competitive game, people want to find the strongest mechanics out there so that way they can have an edge in the competition. And it really takes a long time because of multiple factors, but I think the most important one here is when a meta is just so good that nobody really explores anything outside of the box. But then eventually somebody will get creative and think about different parts that people aren't looking into in order to get a better edge. And that's really just what happened with the punching system. People just eventually figured out that the punching system was broken, and now they're calling for a nerf because it was always broken, it's just people never really did use it. And this happens in almost every single multiplayer game that you can think of. The most benign and underrated weapon today could become the most overpowered weapon tomorrow in the right hands. And of course, if we relate it to Apex today, people are still kind of having that issue too. After the countless of serious nerfs, he was definitely seen as underwhelming. That is until today, where he's now seen as one of the most overpowered legends because of his ability to stop resets, otherwise known as healing and reviving. Does that make them wrong for wanting Seer to be nerfed? Of course not. Seer has always been overpowered, it's just that, well, we didn't know that he was because he was never used by the right people. People were still using Bloodhound, but now Seer's climbing the ladder in pick rate, and, well, it's deserved. But I don't think anybody should be called the crybaby for calling it out, though. Huge oversights like this are common in games, and it really only takes somebody who's smart enough to think outside the box to really bring it to the forefront. And once people start noticing that strategy, they start to copy it. But tell me what you guys think in the comment section down below. Do you agree with Zeus? Do you really think that the Apex community are a bunch of crybabies just for complaining about something that's been there for 2 years? If you found this topic interesting, like it if you liked it, dislike it if you disliked it. If you'd like to see more content like this, make sure to subscribe, and I'll talk to you later.